Hi, I'm Hazel, and it is almost Saturday, so it's time for a new vlog. First of all, happy Zelda Day to everybody that is very excited for Breath of the Wild. We're getting a copy for the Wii U. I'm personally not going to be spending a whole lot of time playing it. I do want to get a Switch eventually, but it's not really a priority because there's not that many games for it. I want to wait until there's more things to actually play on it. Particularly an Animal Crossing game would be super cool, and then like maybe a Pokemon one, but we'll see. Also in new game related news, there's been a new Hearthstone expansion announced, Journey to Un'Goro. I was surprised. I didn't think that we'd really been playing Goblins vs. Gnomes that long. I didn't like look up dates or like the amount of time that normally passes between a Hearthstone expansion announcement, but it hasn't been that long, has it? I don't know. But anyways, they announced Journey to Un'Goro, and the launch trailer didn't have a song like they normally do. And of course Reddit complained about it, and then Ben Brode actually homemade a rap. He homemade a Journey to Un'Goro rap. You should go totally look that up if you haven't seen it yet. It's hilarious. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. I actually pre-ordered for once. I never do this, but I pre-ordered the 50-pack bundle for this because I have BattleNet balance now because of WoW Gold. Ever since they added the WoW Gold to BattleNet balance thing, I've just been saving up like 100k and then dumping it into BattleNet balance. So I managed to get 50 packs ready to go for Journey to Un'Goro without actually having to spend any money, which is pretty cool. And that's going to be out, I want to say April. I feel like I read April somewhere. So what else? A discussion topic. It's not exactly news, but it's something that I've seen a lot of people talking about lately. And this is related to WoW PvP. For anybody that's been doing Arena lately, doing rated Arena games, it's not really a secret that the ladders, it's not dead, but it's hard to find teams. It is much harder to find partners, even as a healer. It must be awful as a DPS. It is much harder to find partners at your skill rating to play with if you don't already have a very established network of friends that somehow magically did not all quit. It's very tough to find people. So people have been tossing around this idea of a WoW rated solo queue. I mean, if you think of Overwatch, Overwatch has this. You can queue for competitive Overwatch with just by yourself. You can queue with 2 people, 3 people. You can queue with a whole group. And the system will tailor itself to whatever you queued with, and you can push competitive rating and play in that competitive environment without having to queue up with a team. A lot of people are looking at that and looking at other games that have done something like that and wanting them to bring it to WoW. Presumably, I don't know exactly how they would suggest that you implement it, but presumably on a separate rating system, but possibly the same rewards. I'm not really sure. So my personal thoughts on the solo rated queue thing. First of all, I gotta say that Arena needs something. They need something to get participation back, because honestly, the game's pretty fun right now. It's not perfectly balanced, it never has been, but there's a good amount of comp variety. Most classes have something that they can play to high ratings. The game, it's not overly, like there's a couple classes that are a little OP, but for the most part, if you work hard and you communicate well, you can do well with a lot of different things. And it feels pretty good right now, at least to me. So I don't think that it's necessarily a you must fix this broken game to get people to play it again, but there's something else that they need to do to get people to come back. And maybe rated solo queue is that thing. But the problem that I see about this, and I actually made a forum post about it that I'll throw up here and then just kind of paraphrase. I don't know how they would deal with queue time. I think that's probably the biggest thing stopping them from implementing this feature is I don't think that WoW has the numbers to actually get queues to pop quickly. So for example, skirmish queues right now, there is no matchmaking system, so it's just trying to put together 2 DPS and a healer most of the time. I don't know if they still put 3 DPS together in skirmish. I wouldn't know, I'm not a DPS. But skirmish queues, as a healer, I sit in anywhere from 2 minutes, if I'm lucky, to like a 5-6 minute skirmish queue, and that is with no matchmaking. If you implemented a matchmaking in like a rated system, you would have to then pair people that are similar skill ratings, which is one of the big draws of the system. But how long especially depending on the time of day, how long are you gonna have to sit in queue to actually get a rated system like that? And that's with no controlling for comps at all, just like having any 2 DPS within, say, 100 skill rating of each other and a healer. I don't know how long you're gonna have to sit in that queue, and if the queue is too long, people aren't gonna want to queue up, and it's only gonna get worse. And I think that you can, and Blizzard probably has access to these numbers, but you can look right now at the amount of people doing rated PvP, and if you imagined that all of them used this rated solo queue feature, I still don't think that the queues would be fast enough to make it worthwhile for Blizzard. If people have to sit in really long queues, that really doesn't look good for the game. And once you get into that situation where you have the system, but people are sitting in ridiculously long queues and they're not queuing up, you have that issue where you either let them sit in that ridiculously long queue, or you start pairing people with a higher variance of MMR, and you end up with people that are like 2200 getting paired with people that are 2k. You end up with people getting really mad, like, oh, we only lost that because we had that one guy, and then that one guy who's, you know, just like third week in Arena, he's trying his best, and he's playing in this system that's supposed to be pairing him with people of similar skill, he's getting just absolutely yelled at for being what he is because the system doesn't have enough people to pair together. And then that guy's not very likely to come back and keep queuing. I think the problem we have with the arena right now is that there are no rewards. There's no incentive for the bottom part of the ladder. Even, like, if you look at arena titles, the very lowest arena title is Challenger. And people don't think terribly highly of Challenger. And Challenger is still the top 35% of the ladder. So you have 2/3 of the arena ladder that they get no titles. They're not getting that 2K Elite set. They're not getting anything. There's no reason for 2/3 of the ladder to queue up at all, aside from really RNG gear, which they can get much better gear very easily in PvE with Mythic Plus, or there's really nothing. There's no reason for those people to play, so it's not very surprising that they've all quit. And that's what's causing the ladder to deflate. That's what's making it hard for people to find teams. So the gist of this is that I really like the idea of a solo queue system. If I could just, on a separate rating from my original rating, solo queue for arena and get put into a team with some people that are similar to my skill level and just play, I would do that all the time. I would do that a lot to try and make friends that I can then play with properly in voice chat or get some teams together in and then queue normal rated. But I don't think that's how it would work out. I think that before the game can support a system like that, they need to get players back first. And I think that the way to do that is to, A, continue improving and balancing the game, which they're doing a good job of. They've been putting out hotfixes whenever something's been getting out of hand. I think that they're doing their best as far as balancing the game. And B, I think they need a lot more rewards. They don't have to be big rewards. They can be, little titles. They can be pets. You can have toys. You can have... You could make a special transmog set. You can, like, anything. There's got to be something, and it has to start a lot lower than even Challenger range. Like, start at, 14, 1500 and add a new reward every 100 rating. There has to be something to work towards, or people aren't even going to bother. So I think that they need to implement more rewards along the entire length of the ladder as opposed to just the top bit. To encourage people to come back, and after we actually have a population and people can find some games, I think a rated solo queue would be an excellent idea there. Another thing that I think would really, really help PvP, I don't think they'll do it because it's too hard to understand. This wasn't my idea, this was something that I heard Supatis talking about, and I really agreed with it, was if each character had 2 different arena ratings, and when you go to queue up for rated arena, you choose which one of them. You toggle between them as to which one you actually want to queue with. And what that does is it lets people play with their friends. So you can have your main rating for pushing with your team, and then you can also queue, weird comps or with your friends or an other spec. Like if I wanted to play Feral and I want to do it on my current druid who has all of her honor talents unlocked, I could totally play Feral except for the fact that I would just destroy my 3's rating trying to learn a new spec. So I think that having 2 different ratings that you can toggle between on a given character, it would help solve the alt problem right now. People that want to play a lot of arena and without risking their mains rating, what they do is they just make a bunch of alts, and then of course they have to grind up honor talents and whatever. But once they've actually grinded up those alts, and we had this a lot in Warlords, you have this huge arena ladder population that's filled up by not that many people because everybody has 2, 3, 4, 5 alts on the ladder, taking up all of those top spots. So I think having at least 2 different ratings that you can choose from on your character would be a really good way to encourage people to actually play. And then you'd be able to play with more people without risking your rating. So I think that's a really good idea. I don't see a good reason why they couldn't do that unless it's technically impossible. I do think they probably would avoid it because they don't want to confuse people getting into PvP anymore. But I think that it would do wonders for participation. And the more participation we can get, the closer we can get to that dream of having that solo queue system without having people sit in 10+ minute queues to actually get games. So that's just what I think. I really hope I'm wrong. I would be delighted if they just implement solo queue and it just works the way everybody wants it to, and we can get games and I can find teams and I can actually play. That would be super, super cool. I just don't see it happening. What else? Related in PvP, they're doing a North American GCD TV tournament this month. I'm really looking forward to watching that. I watched a bunch of the EU one, and it's cool to see high-rated games, but it's even cooler to see high-rated games with a lot of names that I recognize. I'm still not that familiar with more than just the very top EU players, so I'm really excited about the North American tournament. And then personally in Arena, I finally scraped, I army crawled my way back above 2.1k last night. So next stop is 2.2k. It's tough. I still don't have like a team. I'd like to play some Turbo because apparently Turbo's doing quite well again, and I've always really enjoyed playing with Warriors and Shamans, but I don't have anybody right now. So it's hard to find people, but I'm doing my best, and playing every day really has been helping. So I'm really hoping I can get back to where I was eventually. I mean, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, but maybe at some point in Legion I can get back to the kind of games I was queuing last expansion. PTR news: they've added some new class order hall battle pets. So rogues are getting 1, death knights are getting 3, monks are getting 1, and then I heard that mages are getting 1 as well. There could be still more, and there still could be more. There's PTR is still progressing. For the Death Knight ones in particular, if you play a Death Knight and you want pets, I would start hoarding order resources now, because they're actually on a vendor for 10k order resources each. So you're going to need an extra 30k if you want to pick up all 3 of those pets. So that's kind of cool. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't made more of an effort to add order hall pets to every single class. It seems a little bit odd to me that they, right now we have Druid with 2, and then Warlock / Demon Hunter with 1, and that's all we have on live. And now they're going to go and add 3 to one class, and then 1 to a couple other classes, and still none for a bunch. It's just strange, but maybe they're getting there. I am going to be streaming this afternoon on YouTube. I'm looking forward to doing more Pet Battle PvP. It's going to be a not arena stream. It's going to be another casual kind of World Quest chat Pet Battle PvP. I've really been enjoying doing that. And doing at least a couple of games of Pet Battle PvP every week on my stream is pretty much the only way I'm ever going to get a stunted Direhorn. I just can't bring myself to queue just normally. I just can't do it. So, questions from this week. Alex and Jinx wants to know, I am 13. Is that a good age to ask for WoW, or should I wait? So personally, I think 13 is a reasonable age to start playing WoW. I started playing WoW when I was 15. I don't see a problem with 13-year-olds playing WoW, but your parents might not agree. If I were in that position, I would definitely talk to them and find out what their concerns are. But if they say no, they say no. It's parents, it happens. And it's still totally their call at this point. Mitchie asks, have you done much PvP on your priest this season? I haven't. I've never PvP'd to my priest. Not ever. Not really. I think somebody talked me into queuing 1 game in Warlords like a year ago. Didn't go very well. I don't have any plans to play anything that is not my druid for quite a while. I don't have any plans to play any DPS specs, probably ever, considering how much time it's going to take me to actually get my fingers around Restorative Druid and then maybe a couple other healing specs. So I have not PvP'd my Shadow Priest. I don't plan on it. I really like keeping my Shadow Priest as just a little PvE main. I like keeping those two things separate. And then Durville wants to know, is your live stream going to be on Twitch or YouTube Gaming? So Friday live streams are always 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. They are always on YouTube Gaming. Every other live stream is always on twitch.tv, and those ones are always arena gameplay. So those two things are completely separate. The Friday one is scheduled. It is on YouTube. And it is not arena. And then everything else usually is arena. It is on Twitch and not scheduled. So those are the two things. And then that info is also on my Twitch page as well. So that has been my week. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions you would like answered on a vlog, just leave them as comments on the most recent vlog. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.